In this WrestleTalk news, a huge match featuring more than one return for the Royal Rumble has been leaked, Cody Rhodes has been getting physical, an update on Goldberg in WWE, and more.
Support WrestleTalk!
We're very soon entering Royal Rumble territory for 2023, which means information about the event is starting to come out. Not only will we be seeing what happens with Roman Reigns and his potential challenger, or challengers if some reports are to be believed, at WrestleMania, but the customary slew of returns and call-ups that Rumbles are well known for. Plus, this will be the first Rumble that Triple H will be overseeing, so that's also exciting. As we spoke about in Saturday's news episode, there's already a Forbidden Door-style Rumble appearance expected in the women's match, that being one Kairi Sane, but there's more details about the show as a whole coming out now too, with one match reportedly featuring not just a returning wrestler, but a returning stipulation as well. WrestlingNews.co is reporting that a slated match for Rumble 2023 is Finn Balor versus Edge inside Hell in a Cell. But it's not October or May, how can there be a cell match this time of year? It's an encouraging sign, not just because that match sounds very fun and makes sense in terms of keeping out Judgment Day so Balor and Edge can have the match alone, but also because it lends further credence to there not being a Hell in a Cell premium live event in 2023 either, which is a very good thing. It's yet another step on the rehabilitation journey for many aspects of WWE programming, with this one attempting to restore the mystique surrounding Hell in a Cell, though Triple H definitely has his work cut out for him, with also needing to rehabilitate wrestlers, title belts, the idea of actually paying attention to the wrestling and not just entrances and finishes, commentary, promos, storylines, feuds, wins and losses mattering somewhat, and a partridge in a pear tree. This feud will also be the first time we've seen Edge on our TVs since Extreme Rules, where he lost in the excellent I Quit match to Balor, which you would also assume writes out either of them winning the Rumble match itself too. Not that you'd expect either of them to win anyway, because it's going to be Omos. Who could possibly eliminate him? He's so tall. Are you excited for the return of Hell in a Cell and not at the Hell in a Cell Premium Live event? Let us know down in the comments. And while you're down there, why not give this video a like if you're enjoying it and subscribe to the channel for more news videos, because we upload every single day of the year. News! One person many fans have been speculating might win the Rumble in the new year is Cody Rhodes, who we haven't seen since the last Hell in a Cell event. Look at that. Symbiotic news. The man had a severe case of the ouchies at the show, having torn his pectoral muscle immediately prior in a weightlifting accident. Unsurprisingly, he wasn't wrestling after that and needed extensive time off to recuperate. His chest was purple. Look at it! But while fans do think he has a strong chance of winning the Rumble, there's been no confirmation as of yet that he'll actually be medically cleared in time, as while it's been about 7 months since the injury occurred, need I remind you that his chest was in fact purple? However, there might be an indication that he'll be back before long, as it seems he's been getting a bit physical. Thank you for being awesome pledge hammers on our Patreon page, where there's a Will Campbell, and fantastic Mr. Good Old Fox. You can get your own shout out and loads of extra bonus content by visiting us at patreon.com/WrestleTalk. Fightful Select is reporting that last week there was a commercial shoot for 2K, and it featured Cody Rhodes, or at the very least someone dressed exactly like him, locking up with The Miz. Now, while that might seem incredibly tame, for a torn pectoral, just locking up is a good sign of recovery. And granted, this gives no indication if he's clear to wrestle or take bumps or anything of the sort, but at the very least, if this was Cody at the shoot, he probably would have had to have been given some sort of clearance to do anything physical at all. That's good news. Whether he'll be back in time for the Rumble itself is of course still up in the air, but the report also states that WWE fully expects to have Cody back in time for WrestleMania, which reportedly WWE were never in doubt about. So even if he misses the Rumble, he'll be back to have a featured match on the biggest show of the year regardless. That's also good news. If Cody isn't facing Reigns at Mania, who would you have him wrestle instead? Seth Rollins, again, Karrion Kross, Bray Wyatt, Bobby Lashley, Gunther? I think there's some pretty good options there. But one person it probably won't be is Hall of Famer and resident headbutt enthusiast Goldberg. Fightful Select has shot down recent reports making the rounds that Goldberg has signed a new deal with WWE, and noted that his current deal expires at the end of this year, but with no matches left on said deal. The original report stated that Goldberg has signed a new 2-year, 5-match deal, with 3 of those matches set to be against younger talent, whatever that vague term means in contractual language. However, Fightful Select reportedly spoke to Goldberg's representatives, who denied this, and said those reports were news to them, and considering they are the ones who'd be negotiating such a deal, it seems unlikely to be true. It's worth noting that it's entirely possible that Goldberg could sign a new deal in 2023, but as of right now, his contract expires in a couple of weeks, and there's nothing lined up for him in terms of WWE appearances. His last match was at Elimination Chamber this year in February, where he lost to Roman Reigns in a few few minutes. So fingers crossed if he does come back in 2023, it's to have the sort of fun match he had with Dolph Ziggler and not a world title match. Again, please. The recent talk in the wrestling news world has been surrounding Sasha Banks, as it has been for the latter half of 2022 really, with the occasional pit stop to talk about Vince McMahon or Brawl Out. But news recently emerged that Banks is lined up to appear at Wrestle Kingdom 17, which if you weren't aware, is a pretty big deal. This is reportedly to set up a match with current IWGP Women's Champion, Kairi. And if you missed the bit earlier in the video where I mentioned that Kairi is set to appear in the Women's Rumble match, oh, isn't that exciting? Because will Banks be there too to further that story? All the possibilities. Interestingly though, Banks appearing at Wrestle Kingdom wasn't always a cut and dry deal, as the Wrestling Observer newsletter is reporting that initially, Stardom turned down the offer to have Sasha Banks on their shows as they thought it wouldn't be cost effective. Stardom and New Japan Pro Wrestling are both owned by parent company Bushiroad, hence the crossover here. And you know, fair enough, considering Banks was reportedly asking for a hell of a lot of money to appear for them, but it seems like it's more of an investment to kick off their IWGP Women's title legacy and have the title be meaningful off the bat, even if they don't make the money back immediately. The other talk of the wrestling world in the past week has been the release of Mandy Rose. After suddenly dropping the NXT Women's title on last week's episode of NXT, a title she had held for over a year, Rose was let go from the company, reportedly due to content she was uploading to her FanTime page, with it being reportedly deemed too explicit for the PG company WWE. The reports surrounding Mandy's release noted that she was making considerably more money from her own content than she was from her WWE contract, and now there's more evidence of that from CJ Perry, the former Lana in WWE too. Fightful Select is reporting that Perry has exceeded her best year's earnings in WWE, primarily due to her own BrandArmy site. When she launched her page back in May, she reportedly earned $20,000 in the first day, the largest launch day in the site's history. While this is just an interesting factoid by itself, it also lends a bit more context into why Rose would be hesitant or resistant to shutting down her page or toning down the content, if she's far exceeding her WWE contract earnings like Perry is/was. Meanwhile, in WWE though, the Bloodline story continues to be the best thing going in wrestling since sliced bread, which, now I say it out loud, is the name of wrestling move. And yes, I'd say it is better than the wrestling move called sliced bread, and also better than actual sliced bread. One of the many elements of the story is the inclusion of Kevin Owens and his dynamic with Sami Zayn, and this will most likely be leading to a title shot for Owens at either the Rumble or Elimination Chamber, which is due to take place in Montreal. However, despite Owens being a key factor in the story right now, he was reportedly forced to miss not just one, but 2 episodes of SmackDown due to travel issues, according to Fightful Select. There were double tapings in Chicago for SmackDown, and Owens was forced to miss both, which means he won't be featured until after Christmas. Luckily, there's still plenty of time to build to the Rumble, so this shouldn't affect the story too much. Since Triple H has been in power, there's been a ton of returns under his watch, from Karrion Kross to Dexter Lumis and everyone in between. But one person that hasn't returned as of yet is Matt Cardona, the former Zack Ryder. While Cardona has been getting himself over in various promotions such as GCW, NWA, and Impact, he has now said he wants to return to WWE at some point before his career is over in an interview with Chris Van Vliet. One goal that I've been saying for a long time is to win that WWE Championship. That's not a lie, but I'd be lying if I said I never want to wrestle at Madison Square Garden again, or I never want to have a WrestleMania match. So I'm not saying, there's this plan to go back as soon as possible, but before I hang up the boots, I'd love to go back at least one more time. Matt Cardona to dethrone Roman Reigns confirmed? Can you imagine? And as it's nearly the end of 2022, we're looking back across the year to figure out what was the best and what was worst. So why not check out Adam Blompier's top 10 wrestling matches of 2022 over on Parts of Unknown right now.
We're marching towards the end of the year, another domino falling in the inexorable trail towards death. I don't like winter, but I do like wrestling most of the time, and while 2022 has often exhibited the worst of wrestlers, it's seen some of the best of wrestling. Some goofy nonsense wrestling, some intense bloody wrestling, some eye-watering wrestling, and some wrestling with demons.